Hi, I'm Stephen Hann, and I'm running for Mayor of Onkaparinga. Now, today I want to talk about Christie's Beach High School. And Christie's Beach High School is going to say, not again. He's not going to talk about us again. We've already given him one warning. And yes, I've got a warning from the vice principal of the school saying, can you please take down the other video I've done? I did. Now, at the time when I did the video, I really didn't think much about it. I was like, look, the reason I'm running for mayor is because our schools outcomes for students are below average. They're not great. Our hospitals are virtually non-existent down south, and we are running a huge debt, which means our rates are going to go up. Okay, so I'm like, we're not getting any funding for sporting projects. We're just ignored down south. Our schools are largely ignored down south, and our hospitals are what? A day surgery? I mean, you can't even give birth down south. So I was like, look, let's see how we can fix things, and let's talk about it, and let's have open conversation. And so when I'm giving the talk on Christie's Beach, I'm like, well, look, here's this, and this is how I think things can be improved. Anyway, the vice principal of the school said, look, these statistics are not correct. And I said, well, they came out in your annual report, and please provide me more up-to-date statistics, and I will update the video. I've had no response to date. Now, in the response from the principal, he also said he's fully supported by local members, and particularly named Aaron, the former mayor of the council, of which stage then I wrote to Aaron and I said, are you aware of these outcomes at this school and how they compare to the rest of the state? Aaron hasn't responded. Now, I then looked, because I then talked to people about, Christie's and other schools. I then started comparing other schools. And I'm like, well, why is the result so different here at Christie's? I'm not having to go at the school, and I probably sound like I am. I want to make things better. So I want to have a plan of attack. And I think what occurs at other schools is not happening at Christie's. And I did ask the school, I said, do you have tutoring at the school? Because that happens at the other schools, which have great outcomes. I said, do you have an award system that the other schools have? And I had no response back. But I want to talk. I mean, this then hit me in the guts, because I'm like, why is there such a difference? I do not believe kids are born smarter if you're born closer to Adelaide. Like, there's no smart gene given to people born closer to Adelaide. I don't believe that. So, and I down at Christie's and down south or Dinga. This is where I grew up, and it's an amazing place to live. The beaches are amazing. We've got an amazing wine industry down south. It's a great place to live. It's just when we're just largely ignored by the people who live in Adelaide, in my opinion, and our local members. Anyway, I wanted to take a closer look at Christie's and their results, and I want to talk a bit about it. So the NAP-PLAN proficiency. This measures the proficiency of children at the school at a state average. On reading, for 2019, and I will note Christie's Beach High School has not got a more up-to-date statistic than this. For 2019, it was 35%. So 1 in 3 students meet the state average. 1 in 3. Other schools have 90-odd%. Numeracy, so maths, 32%, so less than 1 in 3 for 2019. And they're quite correct that they don't have more up-to-date numbers. Now, so I'm like, well, our reading and numbers and maths are not great. And I wonder why that is. And then I thought, well, they've got attendance statistics here. Why would the Department of Education report on the attendance of students at the school? Has that got some connection to outcomes? So then I looked. So, Christie's Beach High School report on attendances from 2017 to 2020. There's no 2021 statistics provided by Christie's Beach, and I've asked for them, they have not been provided. But let's look at what's happened. Year 8. It's moved from 81% attendance, so 8 in 10 kids, 20% of kids been absent in 2017, to 25% of kids been absent in year 8 in 2020. But it gets worse. Year 9, it's moved from 74%, so 25% of kids being absent, to 34% of kids being absent from the class. It's very hard to get good results if your kids are not going to school. Year 10 is basically not much better. The decline's been greater from 81% attendance to 67% attendance. Year 11, which is an important year, it's gone from 80% attendance to 76% attendance. So 24% of kids are not even turning up to school. Year 12 is pretty standard because basically the kids have given up by this stage. No disrespect to the kids. 20% of kids are not attending school. If this doesn't break your heart, I don't know what won't. What will break your heart, because it breaks my heart, that kids do not want to go to school. I think school is an amazing time in your life. It's an amazing time to learn stuff, to be inspired, to learn stuff, to learn about the world, to learn history, to learn, like I learned woodwork, I learned metalwork, I learned how to weld. You go, look, I went to university. I learned to weld, and people would say my welding is not very good, but I've welded like lots of stuff. Woodwork. Now, my woodwork is not very good, but I learned all woodwork at school. I learned a whole bunch. I learned to sew at school. And I've sewed like lots of stuff, which may be funny, but I've sewn up lots of stuff and I made money sewing, which may sound funny, but stuff I learned at school. I learn at school and I take things from school. Now, the fact that kids are not turning up to school is a major concern for me, and I'd question why. Now, there's a whole bunch of reasons why kids don't show up at school. You could say, well, it's the parents. And look, absolutely it may be the parents. Maybe the family, they may be having problems. But let's discuss this. Let's see these kids and understand why. Now, some people say, well, look, these kids don't even have anything for breakfast. There's a solution right there. Let's have breakfast at the school for kids. Let's have sports after school. Does schools down south have sports for the kids after school? Do they have tutoring before school and after school? Let's have tutors come to the school before and after and help the kids. Now you're going to say, well, where's this money coming from? Now, I'm glad you asked, because we've also looked at that statistic as well. And we'll go through that in a little bit more detail, but Christie Speech is funded higher than other schools per child. To the rate, and I'm going to not go here yet because I'm going to produce those statistics, and I'm sure the vice principal is going to write me another letter and go off at me. But the cost for this stuff, the cost to have tutors, the cost to have breakfast at the school is not high in the grand scheme of funding. We're funding this school for $12 million a year for 500 kids. Now, I can't even get the exact number of kids at this school, and maybe it's because a whole bunch of them don't attend. But the number is about 500 kids attend this school based on the internet. So let's look at why these kids aren't attending. I think sport is great. In America, I do archery, and I'm going to go into this a lot. I do archery. They have archery in the program at schools in America. And you're going to say, well, what's that got to do with schools? What they found was when they introduced archery into the schools in America, kids attended school because they actually enjoyed it. For kids who are overweight and not as physically capable as other kids, archery was a really good sport for them. I have asthma. Sport was really hard for me. That's as much as I can breathe. Sport was really hard. So, because running is really, really hard. So when I go to run, I can't run because I almost die. Archery was really good for me, really good for my confidence. We need to build these kids' confidence. We need to have awards. We need to have incentives for these kids to come to school. We need to have role models for these kids. We need to have people coming to the school and saying, hi, this is what I do for a living. This is how much I make. This is how hard I work. If you work hard, this is what you can achieve in life. Role models for me is huge. I've had so many role models along my life. Look, let's make an impact. Let's get people involved. Let's do the right thing. I'm Stephen Hann. I'm running for Mayor of Onkaparinga. I'm going to write letters to the local MPs, and I'll put those up, and let's see what they have to say, because they like having their photos taken with sporting personalities. No disrespect to my local MPs, but to this, it just strikes me. We're really happy to have photos taken with sporting people and go, look at this, here's sport. But when it comes to really difficult problems, like there's no hospital services down south, so if you want to have a baby and you live in Aldinga, you've got to go to Flinders, or further south, and you want to go to hospital to have a baby, you've got to go to Flinders. We have 170,000 people here. And we don't seem to be hitting the hard problems that need to be solved. Problems that are hitting the average person. You're going to say, what's this got to do with council? It's actually got nothing to do with council. Council is about basic rights. I believe the position of mayor is an advocacy role for the people, the community of Onkaparinga, to say, as a community of 170,000 people, we deserve better, and we can write to our local 4 members of parliament, I think there's 4, might be more, members of parliament, and say, look, we deserve better. Anyway, I hope, and I really do hope, that we improve the outcomes for school and the attendance at school of students attending Christie Speech High School. I hope kids want to come to school, and I hope they enjoy coming to school. That's what I want to work on. And I know it's going to really annoy the local probably the local president, principal of the school, and the vice principal of the school, and probably the other vice principal of the school. But there will be people at the school who want to see outcomes, and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed at this school since I was a kid. I'm 52 years old now. Anyway, I'm Stephen Hann, and I hope to get your vote. Thanks for watching.